the Pentagon spent $1.7 trillion on a jet its own pilots say loses in a dogfight to a plane built before the iPhone. That's either the greatest fraud in military history or the most misunderstood aircraft ever built. Here's what the engineering data actually shows, because the data tells a very different story than the one making headlines. And that gap between the headline and the reality is exactly where this video lives. To understand the F-35, you have to go back to the problem it was built to solve. After the Cold War, the Pentagon was sustaining 4 entirely different aircraft platforms across the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marines. 4 platforms, 4 supply chains, 4 maintenance systems. The cost of that redundancy was quietly bleeding the Pentagon dry. So the decision was made. 1 jet, 3 variants. Replace them all. Lockheed Martin won the contract in 2001, but the goal was never just to build a better fighter. It was to build a smarter one that wouldn't just outgun the enemy, but outthink them. That distinction matters more than almost anything else in this story. Think about what outthinking the enemy actually means in practice. It means knowing where they are before they know you exist. It means making decisions at machine speed in an environment where human reaction time is already too slow. That was the engineering brief. Not agility, not speed, information, dominance. The most common mistake analysts make is judging the F-35 as a traditional fighter jet. It is not. In precise engineering terms, the F-35 is a flying sensor platform with a weapon system attached. Start with stealth. Every curve, every angle of the airframe mathematically calculated to deflect radar waves. That difference isn't cosmetic. It determines who shoots first, and in modern air combat, who shoots first almost always wins. But stealth is only the foundation. The AN/APG-81A ESA radar tracks dozens of targets simultaneously, while jamming enemy systems, while gathering intelligence. But stealth is only the foundation. 6 cameras wrap the entire fuselage, stitching together a full 360-degree sphere of awareness around the jet. The pilot can literally look through the floor of the aircraft. Data links from allied platforms, compressed into a single coherent picture. The pilot doesn't get raw data to interpret. They get a decision. And then there's the helmet. The helmet-mounted display system costs roughly $400,000 per unit. It projects targeting data, threat warnings, and flight parameters directly onto the visor. A pilot can cue a missile onto a target simply by looking at it. This jet isn't flying faster than the enemy. It's flying smarter. And then there is the electronic warfare suite. Most aircraft detect a radar lock and react to it. The F-35 identifies the lock, classifies the threat system, and begins jamming it before the pilot has consciously registered what happened. The response is automated. The awareness is total. No other tactical aircraft in production does all of this simultaneously. Sense, fuse, decide, jam, strike inside a single integrated platform. This is not an upgrade to the fighter jet concept. It is a replacement of it. The criticisms of the F-35 are real, but most of them are being asked in the wrong context. In 2015, a test report concluded that an F-35A was outmaneuvered by an older F-16 in a close-range dogfight. That is factually accurate. But the test was designed to evaluate close-range turning performance, which the F-35 was never engineered to win. The entire combat philosophy of the F-35 is that it never gets close enough for a dogfight. By the time an F-35 is within visual range of an enemy aircraft, the mission is already gone wrong. The cost criticism deserves equal honesty. The $1.7 trillion figure covers the full projected life cycle. Research, development, production, and over 55 years of sustainment for nearly 2,500 aircraft across multiple allied nations. The per-unit cost has dropped from roughly $220 million at peak development to approximately $82 million for the F-35A today. Is that cheap? No. Is it the same number the headlines use? Also no. Reliability remains a legitimate concern. Early aircraft required far too many maintenance hours per flight hour. That ratio has improved, but the sustainment burden is real and it hasn't been fully solved. Every one of these is a genuine engineering trade-off. None of them are evidence the program failed the mission it was actually given. So what can the F-35 do that nothing else can? It can enter a heavily defended airspace and survive. The S-400 missile system, Russia's most advanced surface-to-air platform, purpose-built to destroy fourth-generation aircraft. Against a low observable platform with active jamming and real-time threat awareness, its probability of kill drops dramatically. The F-35 also operates as a force multiplier for every platform around it. In exercises, F-35s have acted as airborne command nodes, processing sensor data and transmitting a complete tactical picture to Allied aircraft, naval vessels, and ground units that aren't even in the fight zone yet. An F-15 pilot receiving targeting data from an F-35 is a fundamentally more lethal pilot. F-35 has reportedly conducted hundreds of strike missions in active contested airspace without a single confirmed loss. No aircraft in current production combines low observability, active electronic warfare, 360-degree sensor fusion, and real-time battlefield networking in a single platform. The F-35 doesn't just fly through a threat environment, it reshapes it. There is one more capability that rarely makes headlines. The F-35's Autonomic Logistics Information System, ALIS, monitors the aircraft's own health in real time. It predicts component failures before they happen and prepositions replacement parts automatically. The jet is not just smart in the air, it is smart on the ground. An aircraft that tells you what it needs before it breaks is a fundamentally different maintenance proposition than anything that came before it. So, is the $1.7 trillion justified? That is genuinely the wrong question. The right question is, what does the alternative cost? Operating legacy platforms separately for the next 5 decades, with separate training pipelines, separate parts chains, separate upgrade programs, carries its own enormous price tag, and none of those platforms could penetrate a modern integrated air defense network without catastrophic losses. The F-35 is the most expensive weapons program in human history. It is also, by most objective measures, the most capable tactical combat aircraft ever built, not because of what it does alone, but because of what it makes every other platform around it capable of doing. The pilots who once complained about losing that dogfight, they fly the F-35 into combat, and they keep coming back. A generation from now, the aircraft that replaces the F-35, the next-generation air dominance platform, will be built on lessons only the F-35 program could teach. You cannot shortcut that knowledge. The cost bought capability, and it bought something harder to measure. It bought understanding. Decades from now, the F-35 will not be remembered for its turn radius or its cost overruns. It will be remembered as the aircraft that permanently changed what air combat means. The shift from platforms to networks, from speed to awareness, from kinetic advantage to information dominance. Stealth, sensor fusion, and network targeting are no longer experimental. They are now the baseline expectation for every serious air combat platform built after it. Whether the price was justified is a question economists and politicians will debate for decades. But the engineering answered the question it was actually asked. Every great technological program in history has been called too expensive by its critics and indispensable by those who came after. The F-35 is still writing that verdict, but the first chapters are already clear.